India's largest network for startups and ecosystem with 17 years of enabling entrepreneurship with a presence in 30 plus cities in India and across other nations, and conducted 2K plus events with over 200 plus meetups every year, impacting over 20K lives. Now that's two big people for today. It's going to be a great interview live from Abhyaziru Technologies. Now over to our host, our beloved Managing Director, Naresh Dubudu, sir.
A very good afternoon to one and all. I think last few minutes, Mr. Shaji Mohan from Abhyas has been trying to introduce me and Professor Suresh Bhagwatula. I think the audio was probably off for some time, and now I hope now you're all able to hear me. And firstly, a huge thank you to Professor Suresh Bhagwatula for joining us today. It's an immense pleasure to have you on our channel, and we will look forward to kind of talking to you on various aspects connected to this unique program from IIM Bangalore, BBA in Digital Business and Entrepreneurship. And I, for one, as an IIM Bangalore alumnus myself, I've been and a teacher who is into test prep. So I think last many years, after some of the other IIMs have started undergraduate programs in business management and integrated programs, we were looking for something from IIM Bangalore. And Professor Suresh Bhagwatula, last year in 2023, I think we completed 50 years. IIM Bangalore has completed the golden jubilee. And when IIM Bangalore's director, Professor Krishnan, was talking about we will also get into undergraduate courses, I was eagerly looking forward to that. And I do understand now. This is while let me tell you, let me be very honest, friend. I think many students feel that they feel that they're only half satiated with what IIMB is offering today. The online offering, digital offering. They're very much looking forward to the more on-campus program. But I'm sure this is a great way for us to reach larger audience. So, Professor Suresh, I want to understand. When IIM Bangalore decided to get into undergraduate, why the idea of digital program? Why BBA in digital business or entrepreneurship? And in this one,
actually, the conversation around undergrad started both online and offline at the same time. It's just that we weren't sure in terms of how we would be able to offer this. What should be the process? Should we be doing it ourselves? Should we be doing it with others? So we tried partnering with some others. It didn't work out. Good that it didn't work out very early. And then eventually we started to do on our own. We said, look, how hard can it be? We are not into tech space. We are not into any of these services that are required for the online course. But we then decided how hard can it be? We've been doing MOOCs and we know how technology is. If startups are figuring it out, we should also try to figure it out ourselves. And therefore we jumped into it. So the online and the offline part almost started at the same time in its second avatar, because the offline started many years ago when we wanted to apply for a Center for Eminence. And we looked at offline as one of offline undergrad was our proposition. So it didn't get government didn't recognize. And then when we got our autonomy, that we now are centers of what's it called? Parliament has given us centers, not excellence, but we can offer our degree programs. Then we decided, okay, why don't we revive this older thought that we have about having an undergrad? And then we said, oh, maybe we should do an online as well. So while it was not out in public domain, internally into the institute, the conversation started almost at the same time, both online and offline.
So I think Professor Suresh,
why did we do it? I will have to say our inspiration has been IIT Madras.
I was about to ask that, and I was able to actually connect that. Yeah,
Huh?
I was able to ask you the same thing. Was IIT Chennai's program in any way?
Yes.
Because you've always been saying that. Yeah.
We were deeply inspired by them. Also by one of the statements that they made, which was they were surprised with the amount of hard work and intelligence that is out there who didn't make it to some of these top schools. Doesn't mean that there are no talented individuals out in the country. And we need to offer a program that is accessible, that is flexible, and that can be delivered at a distance. And we were inspired by them, and we wanted to do something similar. And we thought that could also be the natural progression from another angle of our MOOCs. We have been offering MOOCs for over 10 years, and this could be a natural progression towards something that we've been working on for many, many years. So from both these angles, we thought we should start one. It is not a new conversation. We didn't start this because our campus was getting delayed. It's a very old conversation inside the campus.
Right. So, Professor Suresh, I think now that you have mentioned, we have started. You thought this is a great bridge between the MOOC courses that we already do, and also we kind of said the thing that you're doing, you want to do on the campus in the future. I think there's a great bridge between the massive online open courses we are doing and the future courses that you plan. So what about the on-campus program for undergraduation? I understand it's also in the pipeline. Any updates on that you want to share with the audience today?
Updates as in, look, campus building is very, very expensive affair. We need to raise thousands of crores for it to happen. And where to get this resource from, how do we build it? It's taking a little bit of a time, but hopefully by next year it should be on. Hopefully, I don't know. I would like that to start sooner than later, but buildings don't come up quickly. We had some issues with environmental laws impacting us, and the designs had to be changed. And what we thought was a very difficult part is the part that is available for us to develop, and not the part which is easy, which we had complete architectural drawings for. Right, so we a lot of hurdles in the way for the offline, but we'll start sometime. We are keen on doing that.
Yeah, I think I get it. I get it, Professor. So I wanted to understand because IIM Bangalore, even from my time, I've done my PGP between 2006 and 8. I was myself part of the entrepreneurship club, and I had this interest from there. And now that I'm an entrepreneur for the last 14 years, so I when I was there at IIM Bangalore, we had done quite a few interesting and projects with NSR cell for entrepreneurial learning. And Eximus was just getting started. We were probably the batch. When we were just coming out, our juniors were focusing on this specific flagship event for entrepreneurship. We thought instead of having regular the business summit, we want to have a full-fledged focused entrepreneurship summit. Just wanted to know if these students who are doing this BBA program in digital business and entrepreneurship get a chance to kind of do that. That's one thing I want to ask.
I would urge them to do something bigger, because they have more free time and they are located across the country and they have access to multiple cities. I would expect our BBA folks to do an event across multiple cities, across multiple tech domains, and create a festival of their own, which could match. This time Eximus was very good. After COVID, I think this was the best, and a lot of turnout. So I'm assuming that the interest that people are showing towards entrepreneurship is only on the rise. So, and I think it's a good time to have people BBA, but I'm sure BBA, like any other program, are also eligible to participate in in festivals like Eximius.
Okay. No, the reason I'm asking this question is, Professor Suresh. See, people who undergo this 3-year program with IIM Bangalore, are we, if say, because with NSR cell, can we create, is there any plan underway to kind of say towards the end of this course, if some of these students actually turn to get into startups mode, and is there a way, is there a specific program that we can create? Because NSR cell does, tens of programs, tens of projects that are being there. Is there any idea to create something specific for these kids?
Yes.
Particularly because they're not on campus per se, like other programs.
So one of the advantages of this program is that if you're doing this as a primary degree, you almost have 25 hours a week for you to spend on something interesting. And it can be your own venture. We have multiple courses across, including what we're calling as there are 2 courses calling it Do Your Venture or something. I'm not able to get the title right away, where they will be working on their ideas in year 2. In year 3, they can run a project entirely on their own venture, as in they could do an internship elsewhere, but they could also work on their own venture while being incubated, not necessarily at NSR Cell. I will seek guidance from NSR Cell, given that it's one of those oldest incubators. But there are so many incubators in the country, over 700-800 of them. We would really like to partner with those incubators and get our students positions there, because the ideas probably would be good enough to be selected in those cities. So, short answer to your question is yes, NSR Cell can be involved, but I see a greater potential for a lot more incubators across the country to start having access to great talent who are actually trained in entrepreneurship, business, and digital skills.
Thank you, Professor Suresh. I think the other question that we keep encountering from students is, will BBA DBE program, because it's an online program, will it have the same standing for entrance exams like CAT, or people who try to do
This
MBA?
is an undergrad, no? Not a
So
postgrad.
after completing this, will these kids be treated at par with other undergraduate courses? That's one question that comes regularly. We do answer that, but do they kind of, for example, do they get a treatment which is very similar to other undergraduate courses when they apply for CAT or programs for that?
According to UGC, it isn't, because we can give certificates because of the new institutes.
Government's, because of the government degree granting position to IIM Bangalore.
Yeah. So because of that, we can give degrees, and our degree is valid, because online, I don't think UGC has said we should include online. Online is not on their degree at all. It will only be maybe on the transcripts, but even that.
So for every other practical reason, you're saying when they apply for PG or other things, they'll still be treated on par with on-campus programs like others. I'm just trying to get that clarification. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, I do want to know, some of these kids want to know. See, now that they are also trying to be an IIM Bangalore alumnus themselves, right? They want to get into this program. One is for the content, which we will talk about, we'll get into. But other thing is they want that IIM Bangalore brand for themselves. Will there be any interventions with regular IIM Bangalore alumnus network for these kids? Are there any plans on those lines?
Look, this is an IIM Bangalore degree. So if you finish the degree program, you are an alumnus. So you pass the exam, you jumped over every hurdle that institute threw at you, and you have cleared it, and you have a degree. So I don't see why that should not be considered as an alumni, because you are an IIM Bangalore alumnus. So, well, will you get the same status as a PGP? Quite unlikely. PGP is 50-year-old.
Yes.
But would you have a standing in the market outside as IIMB alumni? Yes, you will. I'm sure. How it is going to be Will undergrad be a separate alumni uh, association, or will it be part of the larger alumni association? Those things need to be discussed. But I see no reason why, logically thinking through, that if you have cleared every exam that IIM Bangalore put, and you have done well and you've gotten your degree, you consider yourself alumnus.
And it's a 3-year program, right? And by 3 years, it is actually like, in terms of years, it's much more than our PGP also. We are there in the campus only for 2 years.
No, but that's an MBA program, is 2 years.
No, I'm just trying to, on the lighter note, I was trying to tell you that these kids are associated.
And you're associated with the institute for longer. Yeah, I don't know if it's good or not. The fact is that, yeah, it's an undergrad program. The modalities of the alumni status and things like that are going to be discussed and will come out. Because, but those who finish degree, I'm sure you would be part of one group, either the larger alumni group or a separate group. I don't know, but yes.
But within our discussions as an alumni myself, I'm sure many of us would be happy to meet these younger ones at the meets too. So I'm sure that is something that I keep answering myself. So that's one important thing. So one thing that I want to ask also is on the placement side. I know that this is a course where we cannot do the placements like the on-campus programs. But what are the ideas that IIM Bangalore has in terms of helping these kids these students that are undergoing BBA DBE at IIM Bangalore?
So one of the things that we are quite confident of is if the students complete the exams and do well in the content, you will have capabilities that the industry wants. Look at the number of jobs that are available in the manufacturing sector, and all of it is becoming digitized now. Look at hospitality sector, look at healthcare sector. All of them require freshers who are capable of taking up a task, be entrepreneurial about it, own the task, go ahead and complete it, because you will have managerial capabilities, you have digital capabilities, and on top of it, you also have entrepreneurial mindset capabilities. So if you have done well in the program, I don't see any reason why companies wouldn't want to hire these talented kids who are trained very well. So what are we doing in the process? As some of the alumni have said, we should socialize this program very early with the industry, because we need to tell the industry in a couple of years' time, there would be a cadre of young people with these capabilities. And therefore, be on a lookout for them. If you would want somebody, you would want to hit the ground running. If you want somebody to help you in your digital transformation journey, you don't have to invest in your own training programs. You can pick these candidates and then they will be able to hit the ground running. So what we are going to do is to create a platform, both offline, online, various ways, to socialize this program and its students to the industry.
No, I think
by saying that, are we going to look at consulting? I think the construct of a job will have to be much harder, much larger, right? Paint industry is going to boom. Energy industry is going to boom. Technical industry is going to boom. And a lot of them are going to require people with digital capabilities.
no, I completely agree, Professor Suresh.
Tata Steel require people, and Tata Motors would require people. JSW will require people, freshers. Startups would require people who can hit the ground.
I was about to say that. In fact, you're right. Probably, a lot of times we need not think as a MBA program where we are trying to kind of get into consulting or investment banking, etc. There's very much, like I said, the youngsters who are upskilling themselves from their grad level. Probably they have a much more broad skill set that is useful in every other industry as opposed to specialized industry. That's the sense I get from whatever you're trying to say as part of this course. One other thing that I wanted to ask you is, there are, as part of the course structure, I've seen there are a lot of tools that the students are getting trained on, right? There's some digital tools, web development tools, and stuff like that. So just wanted to know, as part of the coursework, are we bundling some kind of free licenses? How should they be acquiring that separately outside the course? What exactly would happen for these tools?
Look, a lot of these things, I'm sure the companies are keen on giving usage. The more number of people who use a particular technology, the likelihood of it being used after they complete the program is also very high. So I see no reason why they shouldn't be giving, because the startup kits that are being given to startups, incubators by these large companies, Canva Pro for some months and things like that, Figma, Canva, Airtable, they can continue using it. It'll only be smarter on the startup side to make these tools be available to these youngsters when they go join companies. But
But are these tools being, as part of the course, Professor Suresh, are we kind of making those tools available for the kids, unlicensed versions or something like that?
well, we can't use unlicensed ones. We'll have to use
No,
licensed.
no. What I mean is that we're going for free versions, so they going to get access to kind of do premium, because I see a lot of people, generally youngsters these days, like you always say, I've followed you. Otherwise, also you say they are digital first as compared to my generation and your generation. I think in a way, I think these kids do use a lot of these, sample tools, etc. But as part of the course, are they going to get access to some kind of advanced tools? Because that's one huge advantage we want to look at. That's what I'm trying to ask.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. So one other question is, IIM Bangalore's library. Are we creating a digital library? Or, I mean, as part of our existing library, the kids in BBA DBE program, will they have access to extensive digital library of IIM Bangalore?
One library is one resource everybody wants, but nobody goes.
Yeah, I think that's the question.
There are lakhs of books there, no student goes. But then during conversation, everybody want to know, do we have access to library? Can we go there? It's open 24 hours. When is it not open? Day two, nobody even knows where that library is. But but here, yes, we are trying to get some digital library accesses for some textbooks and access to some knowledge repositories. Yes. Long answer is yes. But short answer is Google is good.
Yeah. So I think now I want to come to the course part. How much of the course is actually asynchronous and how much of it is synchronous learning?
So asynchronous from the faculty, there are only 2 sessions per course. Those are live. The rest of all are recorded. But the subject matter experts, tutoring, interacting with offices, there are a lot more synchronous content. Exams are all synchronous. You have to go to a center to write. And we are also expecting to go and be, or we rather have small companies give out projects which could be live for these students, because there's nothing like learning on the job, getting projects, interacting with businesses, interacting with potential customers. There is no simulation which will give you real life experience.
Right, absolutely. So do you plan to kind of set up city offices for this program? Or, I mean, I just want to understand broadly what is the thinking behind. Because when you say there'll be interactions or exams you want to conduct anyway, you would be setting up.
So TCS centers are going to use for our exams.
Right.
But city offices, as of now, we haven't really felt the need, because you're all in the same time zone.
If ever, like you said, from 1,000, you've always said 30,000 like IIT Chennai does is a dream. If that happens, maybe that can help.
I doubt if we'll ever hit 30,000. I would. I doubt, because a very specific course, right?
Right.
Will I want the 30,000 people? I'll rather have 1,000 serious people who are like finishing the course and going and doing interesting stuff. And if I can manage to encourage some of them to go start their own venture, do things on their own, do some exciting non-traditional engineering, software kind of jobs. I think we have done a great deal, and if we can give capability to people who are in small towns, right? You are in Raebareli, you are in wherever, Guwahati, or smaller place than that. And you don't have access to great education, and then you are in this program and you study well, and then you have done well. That would be a great value add, right? I think that is what we should be focusing on, and not really take out the top numbers and get more and more people lined in. At least not initially, until we figure out the entire online medium.
Right. So, I mean,
So
the intake
post
for this.
that, a lot of faculty content is asynchronous, but a lot of other things we are trying to make it asynchronous.
Okay. Yeah. So I think there's a question about on this line because we're discussing about the intake. This one of the students is asking, what is the exact intake? I mean, have you fixed on the 1,000 number? What is the kind of, are we, I mean, based on you would
So
want
what
to.
we thought is 1,000 is our top number. 1,000 as in, unlike PGP where we have to be very specific because there's only so many people who can sit in a class. If it's 1,000, 1,100, we're all okay with that. But broadly, we're looking at 1,000 as the higher number. We'll go with lower numbers also if that's what we get.
Okay.
But we don't want to go beyond
1,000.
around 1,000.
Yeah, yeah. So just to kind of, because we are also towards the end of the application season, we are probably going to close it in a couple of weeks from now. So just wanted to know what are the generally, as of today, what is the kind of, I mean, I know you can't give me a number per se, but what is the kind of ratio? Because people kind of have that, do we see seats to application ratio? Can you give a ballpark or can you give a back of the envelope? How is it going now?
No. So what I thought was we probably, this is what my imagination was at that point of time, that we'll get about 5,000 to 7,000 applications.
Okay. Okay.
Right?
So
And
I
we're
think
looking at about 700 to 1,000 is what we were looking at, right?
Right.
We're not looking at more than 8,000 applications. And year one, we were also aware of the fact that year one, everybody is watching. There would be more circumspect in year one. And year two is where our numbers are going to go up.
Right.
Because they'll wait and watch and see how this space is emerging. Whether we were able to deliver what we had promised, whether what we are saying is exciting online content is actually exciting or putting them to sleep. All these things are going to be tested out in year one.
Yeah.
And
after the first batch is underway, you'll know that. Yeah. After the first batch is underway.
Yeah, after the first batch, although we'll make them say that everything is honky dory, we'll make them say that, and I'll give you 5 marks extra. But young people, they'll say whatever is on their mind. They will say if something is good, they'll say it's good. Something is bad, they'll say it's bad. And these guys are digital generation. They're not known to really. Well, they're nice, but I would expect IIM to be on a huge learning curve. While we have figured out what we need to do in a classroom, online is a different species and different animal, right? So all I can say is that we are very, very honest. We want to put in a lot of hard work to create this course, that would be of useful to people who are at a distance and who can learn and get live, get skills that are extremely contemporary. So that much I can tell you, that everybody, right from the director to Professor Vasanthi to Professor Boja, so many senior faculty members are interested, and a lot of faculty members are interested in offering their courses here. So it's a very, very positive sign that I see that senior faculty are backing this up, and a lot of younger faculty are saying that we would like to come and teach as well. So from the faculty side, it's good. From the student side, I don't know how they're going to receive, but I look at it like playing Minesweeper. We will subsequent strategies will come depending upon what ground opens up. Right? So 700 to 1,000 is what we are expecting. It'll be great if we get 10,000 applications, but I doubt. Year one, maybe year two for sure, but year one will be a little bit more circumspect on everybody's. They're just watching. It's an interesting space, exciting space. Let's wait and see what happens.
So has the institute planned anything on the scholarships for achievers, or any fee waivers for top? Because people who come from
yeah. There will be some scholarships. We would just be putting out a note now because we have been discussing in terms of internally what should scholarships be, who should be. So in a day, by tomorrow, I think we will have clarified our scholarship. Yes, there are scholarships we would be giving out, but the modality and all, we'll just put up on a FAQ. You should be seeing it by tomorrow.
Yeah. I think that's a great key input that has come out of this interview for students, because of some of those students who want to pursue but also want to have scholarships. This will be a very good value add. They also want to know, Professor Suresh. I know we did not put an age limit there, but do you generally see any sense in someone who is, say, mid-20s to apply for this course? Do you generally prefer it to be only those who have just completed at 12th and do it?
So when we were designing, we had to design with a customer in mind. And our customer was 17 to 20-year-old. So those will be our primary customers. And we thought we will focus entirely on this set of customers. And their requirements, they would be the center of our attention. But that doesn't mean that others can't come in and learn. Right? So since we have multiple exit options,
right,
they could take a certificate and leave, or as our content starts to, as other content come in, maybe those who are senior don't have to do certain other courses. We may actually have another buffet for them to go if they are interested. As of now, we haven't heard from them. But if they have a specific requirement, I think one could look at it. But our design was for 70 to 22-year-olds. Others are definitely welcome. But some courses, they may see they're quite elementary. And that was because we had to have a customer in mind. And we are looking at 17-year-olds, 17 to 19 are our primary set of customers.
Got it. So, Professor, I just wanted to ask you on these lines, because we are also going to have a lot of students who probably are pursuing their graduate course in some other campus or some other course somewhere, also want to enroll for their upskilling and things like that, getting contemporary skills. There's a concern from students, like, what if, say, on an exam day or something like that, there's some conflicts. Would IIM Bangalore's digital program office, would they be able to facilitate? That's one question, that is one concern that's come up from the student community.
So one thing is, we're going to have exams continuously. So if you miss one date, so we would pay for one of your exams. You can choose not to give your exam and defer it to the next time that the exam is offered. That's part of the exam, the part of the course fee. But if you flunk the exam and you want to give it again, then you'll have to pay the exam.
Right.
But if you decide to defer your exam, saying that I don't want to take my exam, I'll take it the next time that's offered, a couple of months' time, they can take it then.
Okay. So Professor Suresh, you said this 3-year course can be completed someone in 6 years as per UGC norms, to help them, in case they want to defer it, like I said, because there are other personal situations. But have you also planned something like the foreign universities do, where someone also can do it quickly if someone wants to complete the course quickly?
No, I don't think UGC allows that.
Not UGC, but the first one, 3 to 6 years, is UGC. But I'm asking generally.
No, but I don't think, because UGC is not comfortable with a 1-year MBA program, right?
Right. Absolutely, that is, yeah.
So they don't want. I don't think the policymakers, and these are candidates with years of experience.
Right.
So I don't think it is good for us to encourage 17-year-olds to finish a degree in 2 years' time.
Yes, right.
Yeah, so there is a reason why BSc bachelor's is 3 years or 4 years, because the formative years it takes that much time, and masters can be condensed fast because you already have some experience and some underlying structures for you to take off. But building foundation takes time. So I don't think Indian government allows us to offer a 3-year degree program in 2 years' time.
Yeah.
1.5 years' time. And I don't think we should even attempt to do that.
Yeah. So bottom line is this course can be at the earliest completed in 3 years, and at the last, I mean, you can do it in 6 years, right?
Yeah.
So on this note, Professor, I think the program that we are planning for on-campus undergraduate program, is it 3 years or it's going to be 4 years bachelor's program? And can you share some details about that, and when is it expected?
I don't know. Look, you can't hold me to whatever I'm saying about the other course, because I'm just telling you based on what I remember, what people are saying. I think it's a 4-year course.
Okay. But broadly, from whatever I've been interacting with all of you, I mean, I think it's a 4-year course and plans to land next year, 25. It's expected. I mean, like I said, we can't hold you to that. But I know it's. But is there something that, because a lot of students would want to know?
I am running the online course.
So yeah, you know the online course.
No. I'm just saying that I should be looking at the other program as like I'm competing with those guys, right? Like Maidan Mein Milte types. So while I like the way in which that program is structured and very good content, I would want people to go through the online part to say that, you know what, this program was good because it gave me flexibility to do things that I want to do. And therefore, I like online because of this. So I would like, so it will be my desire, right? If that happens, that, let's go online because it's giving us freedom. And with this freedom, we are not wasting time generally chit-chatting, but we are using this extra time to do something very interesting in 3 years' time and pumping up my CV, maybe start a venture and run it for 3 years and see what happens. And that will give you expertise of running a venture. You're getting a degree with it. The other one, you can't get a degree. You can't run a venture along with your degree. That's a full-time program.
Yeah, I think that is fair. That's fair.
So for me, I'm pitching for this. I'm batting for this. My brand is to say that this is a good program.
I think you've given an idea. See, someone actually can run an incubator with this. Now, if you say, hey, people can actually.
So okay, here's the challenge that I'll ask young people, right? If we take away 30 hours a week and give it to you and say that we'll train you well with the other 12, 15 hours that you can give us, and if you're disciplined and you give us that time, we'll make you a capable fresher. What will you do with the other 30 hours? Right? What will you do? Will you waste time, or would you do something interesting? Would you join your father's family business and then learn things there? Or would you go do internships at NGOs to figure out how that works? What will you do with that other 30 hours if you're doing this as a primary degree? And do you have that confidence that you can put it to great use and change your CV with that? I think I definitely think one can think of it.
But that's nice. But that's a very nice way to put it, Professor Suresh, because what you said is you're actually challenging these teenagers, late teenagers, people who are entering into 20s. Say, hey, you go startup and your education is taken care of, your skilling is taken care of. Can you put body of work, the remaining? Because you're saying, from whatever I understand, one of the questions that my team and students wanted to ask was, on average, how many hours per week students are expected to spend?
12 to 15.
Yeah, so 12 to 15 hours is probably, I would say 1/3 or around 30% of what a typical program would do. You're giving them 60-70% of the time left for them to kind of do some good body of work. Like I said, the challenge could be either they do a startup or they join somewhere. That's a very interesting way to put it. Because students a lot of times ask, we are doing a program already, we're doing an undergraduate course already, we're trying to add this. And that was the question I had before this interview. I think you've kind of pivoted it very differently. I think nice way to say, hey, Can you work somewhere? Can you do your own startup somewhere? Join your family business if you have, and then do this. That's a wonderful way to put it. I really love I think this is a great takeaway from this, and I'll start talking to kids on these lines after this. So I think one of the questions, one question from the YouTube comments also is: can students know about the batchmates? Are you trying to do? How can we
Oh,
this?
yeah. Definitely. We are going to place significant importance to community building. Kids are wasting enough time on digital media. They can be friends with people whom they have never met. Right? So their meeting physically is not being the biggest challenge for them to be friends. But one way in which we can leverage this digital is to create challenges. We would want to create challenges. We would want to ask businesses to give problems. And if people come together and solve that problem, like it could be a strategic problem, it could be a marketing problem, it could be a branding problem, it could be customer segmentation problem, whatever be the problem, data analytic problems. Right? And if you throw these challenges out and say that I'm going to give you 20,000 to the top guy, 10,000 to the second person, and we throw these challenges out, for 30,000, they'll get so many different ideas. And 30,000 is not a lot of money by many companies' perspective. Or if they want to give, if it's a big challenge, they can give 50,000 as prize money. And we're asking students to submit, they come together and submit for those challenges. And if they win, whoever wins has the experience of solving that very interesting problem. And then the companies are getting tons of different solutions to the same problem from young people with such a fresh perspective that they would not be getting this perspective anywhere else. And challenges are very creative ways in which we can get communities to be formed. We also would like students to form city level groups, but we would also like students to identify some entrepreneurs, some business people in their own towns, and then interview them and put it up for others to respond. Because when we have distributed people across the country, you never know, let us say, how many people know about Crane as a brand, right? You're sitting in Guntur, is a very large brand. How many people know? And they are done well. They've done very well. Yes, maybe something else. So they would always be cycle brand Agarbatti, right? So they have big names. They're like big brand. We don't know who they are. We don't talk about them. And at a city level, you'll have hundreds of people who have at least 100 crore businesses. Forget 1,000 crores. There are people with 1,000 crore businesses, 2,000 crore businesses. And all of them, we need to capture their stories, and we can create competitions, challenges, projects for the students to collectively work and then identify and talk to and interview and learn from the world around, and not just in the classroom. I think I would want to look at this as a very interesting pedagogy where we should let the real world also train these freshers.
I think I've always, as an MBA student myself from IIM Bangalore, I've always had this thing. We get to learn only the case studies we do are only of the MNCs and the international brands and stuff. Like you rightly said, there are a lot of companies, probably hundreds turnover, not thousands of crores, but these companies, can they be brought to the classroom? I think this kind of program with 1,000 students would give you a brand like IIM Bangalore, institution like IIM Bangalore. We can probably build many cases around a lot of such. That would be great, good idea. If you can build in those 3 years, the students actually get to know 20, 30 different SMEs, MSMEs, which do great job, they brand themselves, the German Mittelstand, you kind of have to kind of create that kind of culture, that's
And then they could also give out challenges, right? They have a man. So I see a lot of companies about 2,000 crores. They've done well. They started. We have this large family business program, and some of them have started to do very well. And they started as individuals, have done well, We need to capture those stories. We need to talk to them. Use this as little bit of, can we push the way in which we teach people business, right? Because actually not even business. Like, how do we address a problem to make money? Like, because if you address a problem well, if you address a problem efficiently, you can make a lot of money. Like, for instance, a lot of people are looking at AI, ML, and things like that, blockchain. ID Batter is doing so well.
Right.
Right? Ramesh Cafe is doing very well. You go to any city, Haldirama has defeated all these multinationals, and then they're doing very well. Right? So if you look at just take one curd, yogurt, how large is the market? Incredibly large. Right? Idli. You think these days, if I go into the northern parts of the world, they give idli. I was in the northeast area, Shillong and Guwahati. What's morning breakfast? Idli. I said, okay, I had the idli. Idli was pretty good, not bad. And so I had idli dosa in Guwahati. I was very unhappy that I should have eaten Assamese breakfast or Meghalaya breakfast, Khasi breakfast. But idlis have taken over. So do you think there's a market for ID? I'm sure. Is there a market for coffee? Yes, for sure. Right. So if you look at India and start to address some of these things, it's a very large market with large number of people, right? Elderly people, do you think we can solve for their problems? Yes. Young people, do you think we can solve for their problems? Yes, right? Neurodivergence is now turning out to be a very interesting space. Like, how do you solve for those? Like, if we can get them to start to think and give a problem-solving mindset, that how do I look for problems around and how do I connect the dots to solve it and make money in the process? I think we have created a great cadre of people.
So now I think as we're coming close to the end of this interview, I think students wanted to know, now coming to the entrance exam, these 8,000, 10,000 odd aspirants and 1,000 seats that you're talking about. So when the entrance exam itself, can you throw some light on that, Professor Suresh? Because we have seen the sample paper has also come out.
So look, the primary focus is inclusion, not exclusion, right? So to that extent, we also don't want to make it extremely inclusive. We would want to create a program which is more inclusive than others. So it's a little bit tougher than CUET. I don't think you ask questions in the section cutoff, section time.
Right.
I don't think so.
So there's no sectional cutoff and sectional time limit, and you don't have negative marking also.
So what does the FAQ say? Because I haven't been kept.
No, I remember there was nothing mentioned about sectional, so that's why I was trying to ask you.
Maybe there isn't, because it isn't, because we know what CAT is. So if we haven't specified, then there's no negative marking.
There's no negative marking.
No, we don't want it to be like. We just want people to say that it's a good exam. Go give. If you have been a little bit studious through your 11th, 12th, it should be okay. Practice a bit just to make sure that you don't spend too much time thinking about it. 60 questions, 90 minutes. It's like moderate, not tough at all. I don't think I may be wrong. I may be wrong.
I think, Professor Suresh, having gone through the sample paper myself, I think people who have done exams, I think they should be able to, they should enjoy the exam. That's what I would feel. It's not about easy or difficult, but I think if they've been preparing.
I don't think it's a tough exam. It's certainly a moderate level of toughness, not as little above CUET maybe. But I would just tell people, just write the exam and decide whether you want to take it or not, because at least that way you decide whether you want to join or not.
Right.
And then
and there's no, in this case, I understand, you write the exam, unlike other MBA programs, they're not conducting a second round, right? You're not having an interview per se. So you write the exam, you get a you will kind of get a merit list and they'll get to know it. It's exactly.
What do you think? You think we should have another round? I was thinking maybe we should make them write an essay or something. No.
No,
I think, or maybe.
Some kids would love that, but many kids would hate me and you for that.
You would like that?
No, I'm saying some kids would like that, but few kids will like that, but 90 other percent, 10% might love it, but 90% would not like us discussing this even. That's what I'm saying.
I think we just want to create. We don't want to create extra levels of difficulty. We do a simple one where students are comfortable with maths, comfortable with some logic. You have fair amount of ability to handle, because that's what business is, right? We don't have to do super second order differentials and multiple integrals and things like that. So
yeah. So I think one last thing, Professor Suresh, I think you said there are 2 slots for the exam. I mean, are there 2 slots because you want to conduct it to separately because you cannot accommodate all of them in one slot, or can students actually attempt 2 times? That's a question that someone.
2 points. That's not the reason. Look, actually, we wanted to give only one. Mine was one, just one exam and be done with it. But some of the faculty members, because we are also noticing this, right? Not all exam centers will have the minimum that we said we will. So I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe we'll give them an option to go to a nearest other center. But the idea was, in case first date was not working for a bunch of people, they take it. It's just to give them some flexibility, because as I told you, here we are looking at more inclusivity than exclusivity. We didn't want to say that there's only one exam, come and do it, guys. Too bad if you can't make it. Instead, we thought year one, at least we give more options and reduce the options as we go along. Once we know that maybe if we could have, maybe it turns out that, we didn't expect thousands of students, there were fewer students, and 2 days were a little bit superfluous, then we'll change it next year. So it's easier to be flexible in year one and then fix things in year two. So here again, since we did not give time for students to prepare, we thought it's better to give 2 dates. Maybe next year we'll go with one, because we'll start our exam date very early in the year, so people know that maybe 10th August is the day on that exam, and then so the ball is in your court that you don't fix anything up on that day. Then that we only announced this program some weeks ago, a little over a month ago, we thought we should have 2 days, not for giving 2 attempts, not to say that we are actually taking a bigger load, as you rightly said. How do you normalize? We're going to normalize, but it's not that you can't take 2 and say take the best of them.
Yeah. So I think with that we come to the end of the interview, Professor Suresh. Once again, very huge thanks from me and my team for joining us today and kind of speaking about this program. I think we try to get into a lot of diverse areas of the program, not just get into the straight jacketed, more on the facts content, because FAQs and stuff, because it's there in the out there for a long time. I did not want to get into that kind of mode. Even now I see a lot of YouTube questions about what about the placements and a lot of those.
I don't think I look, here's what a lot of people are asking, parents are asking, what about placements?
Right.
I'm confident placements will happen, because if you jump through all the hurdles we throw in your way, in terms of exams, in terms of submissions, in terms of projects, you will have capabilities that the industry wants. And we will do whatever to start the socializing very early.
Right.
We could have interactions with the industry, we could have interactions with founders, so they come to know of this course, they come to know this trained manpower exists. And I think there'll be lots who will want trained people, who have young people who can hit the ground running. So I'm not overtly worried. That's what I should be saying as the director of the program.
No,
but I don't, because I spoke to a lot of alumni even. They said, look, if you promise to deliver this, and then if the students are able to do that, I think the industry will want that. Is brand at the end of the day. What is brand? Brand is your delivery. You're promising something and delivering that promise, and that is what creates a brand. And
So I think on that line, I want to add as an alumni, as alumnus myself. I think what I believe is, as a small company, MSME company, and many like me, I'm sure would be happy to hire people. I think because the fee bracket and placement bracket, I think with right skill set, they would find an immediate requirement. The job market, employability will definitely be there, and I'm sure a lot of options will be there. Depends on how what kind of plans they have. That's something that I'm confident.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what I'm confident of. Maybe 3 years later, I doubt it. India is a growing economy. They need talented, employable freshers, and this program is going to deliver that. Yeah, definitely. So there are a whole bunch of questions. So if what you could do, if possible, is just copy them, and I'll send it to our team. And if any of them, we can, if some of these questions are not answered in our FAQs, I think we'll put it up in our FAQs.
Sure. We'll do that. We'll probably share the list of questions to you by mail, and you can reply. And I think some of these questions are people are repeating, and we probably did it the early part of the interview. That's why I'm not kind of speaking about that now. But most of them, I think we did answer. But we'll try to kind of share the question list with you, Professor. I think on that note, thanks a lot for joining us. And I wish you, like you said, you hit 10,000 applications, and may this exam happen smoothly, and you get 1,000 bright kids, and this program start on a great note. And that's how I would.
We are starting. How many number of students we're getting? We're going to start.
Yeah.
If it's 500, we'll start. If it is, because we're also looking at it as a pilot, right? I think there are a lot of things that we are not sure. I think it's only fair for students to wait and watch, parents to wait and watch, because students may be interested, but parents are also being very cautious, right? They are the ones who have to pay, and they'd rather make sure that whoever joins early says nice things about the program. The program is delivering what it is scheduled to do. So I think we are okay. I think we are on. We are starting. How many hour turnout? We are starting.
So that's a great note to end the interview with, because we're sure, we kind of confirm that we're starting this program, whatever be the number, even if that's.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot once again, Professor.
Thanks a lot, Naresh. And thank you very much for doing this. And these sessions are very important, because we realize that how important influencers like y'all are in the current system of education. And thanks a lot for doing this and giving us an opportunity.
Thank you.
Right, see you.